John.
Hello.
You're back.
Good morning. I'm back.
How was your travels?
It was wonderful. Always.
Where'd you go?
We went to New York City. We went to Thailand for about a month, bouncing all over. We went to Rome. We went to Madrid. And then a few different places, bouncing around, driving around in Portugal.
Jeez, and now you're back home in Nosara.
It's my home now.
I'm glad you're here, man.
Thank you.
Before we go any further, could you tell me how to say your last name?
It's Mangogna.
So as long as I've known you, I've said that wrong every single time.
It's pretty much everyone.
Okay, so I'm not alone on that?
No.
All right, I feel a little bit better.
No, it's that second G that always gets everybody. That silent G doesn't.
So it's silent. You got to just take that thing out.
I've tried. It just doesn't want to go anywhere.
I got you. So, geez, man, Thailand. What's the flight? So, New York to Thailand?
Yes.
That doesn't sound like a fun flight.
It was about 13 hours to Abu Dhabi. Foundation training, decompressions all along the way, some stretching. I'll stand up in the cabin and do it in the aisles, even if I look funny and people are staring at me. But it keeps me fresh, keeps us going. 13 hours to Abu Dhabi, and then I think it was like another three or four to Bangkok.
Jeez, dude. So, actually, before we get any further, how about you introduce yourself real quick and state like what you do, and let's just start there.
Cool. So I've moved to Nosara about 5 years ago now, kind of on a one-way ticket through a good friend of mine here who was working down here. And he called me up one day and said, "Man,
That's John you're referencing, right?
Yeah, John Butler.
Yeah, okay, cool.
He said, "Man, you have to come down here. Like, the place is exploding with the right kind of people, and the way it's growing is awesome. And everything that you're doing in New Jersey with like TRX and fitness, and people are going to love it here, because it's a whole different crowd of people coming down for surf and yoga and to stay fit and to stay active and to be
So
healthy."
you were a personal trainer back there?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so it was just a good fit. He's like, "Come on down, man."
He saw it and he said it, and that kind of planted the seed, and I started to think about it and let it snowball, and then was like, yeah, I want to do it. And my parents luckily were, they're super cool people, and they kind of encouraged me instead of saying, why would you want to do that? That's crazy. They were like, well, yeah, go ahead and make a little plan for yourself, right. Which I did, like 3 months, and I'd reassess. And if I was just, blowing through cash on a surf vacation that got prolonged, then I was going to come home, or so I thought.
So people wanted your stuff, though. You've been well received, it seems like,
yes,
to me, and you have a lot of friends here. You provide a very valuable service. You've helped me a lot through some really trying times, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
But what you're doing for people's fitness, it's not even just about the fitness, because whenever I go train with you, it's like, I don't know. It's not like we're just...
I call it adventure fitness and so much more, because it's not just...
That's a pretty good tagline, actually. Do you really call it that, or did you just make that up right now?
No, that's pretty much
adventure
what
fitness
I use.
Is so much more.
Yeah. You'll see it like on my Instagram tags. Okay. Because it's not... I think fitness got so diluted into... Or actually maybe focused into one certain thing, like, how hard can you push? How high can I get your heart rate? But it's not. I think it should be, fitness is wellness. Wellness is fitness.
I get you.
They're kind of all together, right?
So that's interesting, because when I'm your client, it's over an injury. And what you would do is you do differently than other people had in the past, where it's like, just do these exercises, and I was constantly re-injuring myself.
Sure.
You would find, hold on, where did that start? Okay, let's just focus on this. And then you'd push it really hard all around it. And then, I don't know. So it was at first it was slower, but then it gained more momentum, and I made a lot more progress, and I started moving around a lot more quickly. So I've been seeing your praises, and I know I'm not the only one. So a lot of people around here are super grateful.
I've been fortunate to have that welcome, and I also work toward that. I put a lot of thought into each, kind of the opposite of some of the way the healthcare system, when they talk a lot about, just being a number in the healthcare system. No matter what you're providing, you could be the smartest person in the world. And I'm not a super, the healthcare system's the devil, this, that. If you need it, you need it. If, it's helped, and it's made leaps and bounds in technological stuff and science but sometimes to a certain degree in the States, you are just a number. So you have a back issue or this or that, and you're just your healthcare, number, like with your number on your head of how much that is per year, per whatever, per term.
It's like a factory, essentially.
Yeah, and then essentially you could be maybe not even looked in the eyes. It's the sheet with the measurements, and you aren't there. There's an implication there. There's something more there than you're not just your measurements of your blood pressure and your target, your resting heart rate or your stroke volume. Like, you aren't just that sheet. There's also a component of you that's you that has to be looked at.
That's interesting. Do you think because you're here in Nosara and we don't have access to all of that factory part, it helps you dive in with your clients? Definitely. And maybe that's why you're more personalized?
Definitely helps.
Interesting.
Definitely helps.
You probably weren't expecting that when you got here, I imagine.
Not at all. No. The only thing I knew was that the I'll say the vibe down here was different than most places.
So you're kind of a balance of Eastern and Western.
Yeah. I don't. Everyone expects you to say that, the healthcare industry's evil and whatever. I don't think fully like that, because sometimes you need it. I can't say that, it's like saying forget the police and the first people that you call when something goes down at your house are the cops. So you can't keep saying forget the police, right? And the real term for that, but that's how I've always
shout out to NWA.
That's how I've always felt, right? So, yeah, I mean, when you need it, right? But you have to look at it's about balance, man, and that's how I treat the fitness stuff too. It's about the balance. Let's look at the total thing. Let's look at the total package. Let's look at where you're going, where you want to go, but let's also look at like what you do and what you do day in and day out, and right. It's not as simple, I don't think, as just saying strengthen this or strengthen that, or you have to have a strong back. Of course, I have to have a strong core. What is it? Of course, right? It's everything. The eyes got to be balanced. You got to use your feet every now and then, right? All those things kind of come together.
So what's a typical day for you? Do you like wake up and go drink some cleansing juice and then like spin around 3 times and like face the east?
I pretty much do. It's true. That part is true.
John Byrne.
Set me up for that one. The normal day, I do try to...
I honestly thought you were going to laugh and be like, nah, man.
No, but it's true, though. I do have a little bit of a ritual. I try to wake up. I turn my alarm off, and then I try not to look at my phone for at least a little bit. Okay. Because you start to look down at your phone and get going, and I'm a super crazy... my brain's always on the next topic before I get to the first one. So if I look at my phone, I'm already 10 steps ahead. What am I late for? Who do I have to figure out?
What's next?
What am I
behind on? All these things.
And then your mind's already in that further down the line.
That's a good point.
And now you're not in the moment. And then once you're not in the moment, you haven't thought about even yourself yet, right? So how can I get to my first session and make sure you're doing well if I haven't first at least thought about myself? And that's been a bad habit of mine that I've been recently trying to change.
How are you going to change it?
Well, just like that. Step 1, just don't look at my phone. I get up out of bed. I do like the decompression breaths that I just led you guys on.
Let's do that at the end.
Sure.
Maybe use Andres as your dummy.
Sure.
By the way, in here, we don't really like Andres that much because he surfs better than all of us and he paddles faster than all of us.
There's been a few times in the water that I went... Darn him.
On land, I think he's okay.
Waiting for the set.
Then I don't want to show him any of the foundation training because he's going to surf even better than the rest of us already. Oh, man. So, yeah, it's I do a couple of decompressions, not too much, right? Frequency trumps intensity, so little by little in smaller pieces. And then typically I go to work, slam a glass of water or 2 glasses of water, a little bit of coffee. I do drink some coffee in the morning. And then I usually go to my first session. And then I have a little bit of break after that first session where I make the craziest smoothie a full papaya, 4 bananas, a maracuya.
So you start throwing, loading it in.
Yeah. And we'll pretty much, Delara, my girlfriend, and I will pretty much split that smoothie for breakfast. And that's breakfast. And I've never, ever felt better than doing that. I'm full, but I have energy, and it's not that fullness of like when you eat, eggs and toast and gallo pinto in the morning, and then you're full, but and you're happy. You don't get me wrong. I do that sometimes. I'm not against it. But then I go out to the next session, and I'm like, right? Like kind of sluggish and trying to move and not feeling it. The energy levels are there, and it's like your body just takes it in, takes the nutrients, and that's it. You're good.
So how do you find your clients is one question. And then how would they find you? Talk us through that a little bit.
I thought you meant as far as how do I observe or what do I think about most of them? But
no, I know you hate everybody, but I'm just
they all suck. That's why I'm there. I'm trying to make them better, and they're not getting there.
How do you find them? As in, some people like have a shop, and then people walk through the door, and then some people.
That's the other interesting thing about Nosara. Once you get in good with the community, through bribes or whatever you have to do, then it's pretty much like, and this is going to sound, I guess a little arrogant, but it's not, I don't even really have to advertise. Because people like yourself, all over, when someone comes down, whether it's a rental property, whether it's a friend that's moving here, buying a house, I don't know, whatever, then when they say, oh yeah, and you know what, by the way, I've been wanting to start this journey in wellness, or I've been hurting in my back, or I've been wanting to just get a little bit stronger for a long time now. And that's pretty much why I've moved to Nosara, to change some of those things. Someone like you says, oh, you should go see Jon. But generally, my Instagram, my Facebook page.
So people can find you on that.
Yeah.
I get you.
It's crazy how Instagram has become almost like a resume. Like I find myself traveling the world, and doing sometimes these little workshops or wanting to teach people around the world and being like, if you check out my Instagram, you'll get a feel for the whole thing, right? Instead of like a resume. It's kind of wild.
I got to the Instagram party late. I just got there. I just posted my first story.
Sure.
Like, what's this?
I saw it.
How do I do this?
Yeah.
And then with the podcast that I'm doing, it's necessary. And at first I was like, this Instagram, I'll just keep this just for a couple small things. And It turns out it's much bigger than I realized, and Facebook's quickly dying.
Yeah.
And the demographics are I gotta get into it. So
it just creates a whole. So like we talked about in the beginning was the whole how it's not just like fitness or not just one thing or the other. It's a bunch of things, right? And that it sort of encompasses all of that. So if you scroll down my Instagram page, you'll get a good feel for what I do, and also because it's my personal too, is like man, that dude's practicing that stuff for himself. Like that dude's living what he's telling you, not just coming in and saying, oh, you eat meat and potatoes and cheese every day, don't do that, eat kale every day. And then you look at my Instagram page and I'm out there with a giant steak.
Right. It's interesting because I see what you're saying. The balance of it all is right there, and they also get to see the balance of you as trainer and you as a person, and that's what you're getting at.
I cut loose. I do I'm not super strict all the time. I have to every now and then, right?
Well, that's what's discouraging for someone like myself, who's a bonehead workaholic, injured. I can't serve, so I just got fat and work, and then it's so hard to be around people who are so perfect all the time. And I've always appreciated that about you. You're like, you know what I mean?
No. Dude, trust me. You can ask Delara. She's helped me a lot with some of the struggles, like certain areas that I don't struggle with, like forcing myself to stay working out while I'm on vacation for 2 months out of Nosara or whatever, or traveling. Certain things that I don't struggle with there, I struggle a lot in other ways.
I get you.
And she's helped me a lot with those things. I'm in my head a lot, believe it or not. I never was outgoing as I seem. So people are like, really? You seem like you could talk? And no, in my head, it's crazy. Like, boom. I can't for a long time. And I've gotten better and better with that sort of stuff. One, from just having to teach and forcing myself to be out there. And two, just from her kind of, she's been telling me for a long time, stay open to things, stay open to possibilities, stay outside your head a little bit for a while, and more things will start to come to you. More things will happen. And then those possibilities tend to be positive because you're staying positive and not. So, I mean, like you said, where you think it's super perfect, there's other things that, right? And that's kind of everybody. And that's.
I get you. I appreciate you being real for a moment.
Sure.
Because I always I say everything to your face, but so I'll call you Handsome Jon or Perfect Jon, or can't hang out with Jon right now. I haven't been behaving. I've been working, and I haven't been doing my exercises. there's a lot of validity in what you do because, again, in the past, it's like, why would anybody need a personal trainer? Just go work out, stop being lazy.
Sure.
But then something happens in life and then you can't quite figure it out and then you need it. So from my personal experience from Eric Goodman, he had the foundation exercises. I met him. They were great. They did so much for Eric and he changed his life. I'm like, I'm going to get in on this. But I promptly went and started doing the exercises very wrong. I just hurt myself more. And then
pain tends to lead that forefront, right? You will do anything and you want to do it now. You want to do it as fast as possible. So that's what I did. Jump right into
it. Do it the wrong way. Get really soured on the whole thing. And that's where you were very relevant in that you were like, no, hey, see that 1 inch adjustment right there? Sure. That's the difference between your nerve pain and that's the difference between opening it up. And I never would have figured that out. I just get discouraged and quit.
Changed that. The foundation training kind of changed everything. I'd always been on a path since I was doing judo since I was young and competing in judo. I've always been on that path of like, I guess, more functional movements. I never fully got into like heavy like compartmentalized weightlifting like everybody was doing when I was going through high school, like chest day, as heavy as you could, laying flat on the bench, because it made me unbalanced for judo or surfing, right? So the TRX stuff was always really good. I was always into like body weight exercises, and the foundation training just kind of tied everything all in and gave me a really focused, it also changed where I could head with the whole physical therapy side of the training, and not just can I make you do burpees on the TRX until you puke and you leave and you feel good, but feel like you've accomplished something. But delving into that really focused understanding more of the physical therapy side of it, right? And I think, like, back to what you were saying before, like when you need me, that's another habit that I had to work on of mine. Like today, going to see Dr. Mark Lucius, because sometimes I need help, and you have to always remember that no matter how much I practice foundation training for myself, sometimes I have to go see an outside source, especially one like Mark.
Actually, let's give a shout out to Mark.
Yeah.
Connecting us, and that guy, he might have saved my sanity. Yeah. I don't talk to him as much as I have for a while, but man, that
I've never met someone that is. He just studies and studies and studies. He's always working on something else and learning.
He has an inquisitive mind.
He gave me besides what I've learned from him, just bouncing patients off each other and where he'll sit me down and say, this is what I want out of this patient and make sure that you stay away from this, but you're doing that. Besides like learning that, just being around him, you'll learn a lot. Like just listen to him, just speaking with him, you'll learn a lot about different subjects, and especially in the field of physical fitness and physical therapy, right? Really cool. And neurology, which is a huge one.
Well, as you were talking just now, it kind of hit me. You guys didn't used to be here.
Yeah.
It's like there was no chiropractor. It wasn't like that. Like we had standard yoga, we have standard surf, we kind of had that scene, but we didn't have specialists.
Sure.
So if you have a unique health situation or injury, it was kind of problematic. And we have good doctors, and now we have a lot more doctors.
Sure.
We didn't used to have that many doctors either. So,
and exactly, like if you hit your head on the board and you need some stitches, you're not going to say, well, let me do some foundation training or let me do some yoga. You need the doctor, right? That goes back to my...
Hey, and shout out, Paradise is really good at stitches.
Yeah.
They've been there and gotten a lot of phone calls at tough times and really helped this community. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Nosara's getting kind of interesting, man.
It's one of the great things about it. And now even as far as movement stuff, like fitness turned into kind of the movement. And now that we have people coming from all over, not even just even living here, but retreats or workshops, rather, like people bringing in big names from all over the world to do like a handstand or arm balance workshop, or all these different subjects in the realm of movement. It's really cool because you don't find a whole lot of places like that, even in the big cities, right?
So it's like Nosara is like this landing spot, this tiny little town out in the middle of nowhere, has all of these specialists now rolling in. And again, that's the interesting thing about the town growth. People are so quick to complain about all the bad that comes with growth, and no one's denying that.
Sure.
But towns grow, especially really highly desirable ones like this. And again, I deal with negative stuff every day.
Of course.
because of the growth, but at the same time,
I mean,
the people coming in are pretty cool.
Exactly. That's that whole like infinite field of possibilities. So I'm reading a lot about this stuff because it ties in with the physical fitness and the wellness aspect of it. Is the whole neurology. That's where Mark helped me a lot to start to teach me that stuff, and some other different books on the subject. But are you your external circumstance? Does that form you? Like, meaning the growth here in Nosara and the negativity that's coming your way, is that you? Is that that circumstance is you or not? Or is your internal circumstance, can you surpass that extranal circumstance?
So what does it say at the end of the book?
Can you? Yes, you have to be. You can be. No, it's hard. It's not easy. I mean, I'm
making light of a very,
of course.
situation, but I understand what you're saying.
I can't do it fully myself yet, but
it's hard.
But yeah, I mean, but
when you can tell someone else to.
It's exactly what you just said on a much lighter note, right? Meaning what you just said was a much lighter note than that whole. It's a whole nother topic, really. But is the growth here and the negativity, is that going to like weigh you down, or is what you said? Are you going to find some positives in that and be like, wow, I didn't even see this coming? Like, you might have one of the most famous movement specialists in the world coming down and teach you privately just because you live in Nosara and it's growing, right? And those are that's two ways to go.
Well, Mark, Lucius, yourself, Eric Goodman, you guys came through Nosara. I never would have met you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Nosara hadn't grown and you guys found it interesting, I'd still be hobbling around. I'm out of shape, but you guys are getting me down the road a little bit more, and I appreciate that.
Maybe you would have found another something else that you would have liked.
I did all the traditional stuff. I did the MRIs. I've done all that stuff. So I did all what you're supposed to do, and it turned out I needed someone physically there to say, when you exercise, try this.
Try this, sure.
And now I just got back in the water, surfing again.
Good.
And
I've seen you out there on the longboard.
No, I started riding a shortboard.
Yeah.
Guillone's is such a soft wave. You know my policy on this. Ride whatever board is right for the conditions.
Yeah.
And I just can't stand sinking.
See, I got to get a bigger board.
You do. When the swells are pumping, you see me out there, I'll ride. Actually, I'll ride anything. I'm an equal board opportunity
rider.
There you
go. Politically correct with your board choice.
Yeah.
Right?
No, actually, no. I'm pretty rude about that because for mid lengths and fun shapes, I've always hated them.
Okay.
My policy.
So you're open about that, though. You're an open
I'm
hater of.
Yeah, I'm openly. Is it bigoted or racist?
He's not trying to hide that. You're not
as far as
for the record.
You got to be honest, and I'm being honest. For years and years, my gospel has been ride a long board or a really short board, one or the other, because you get your performance on this. And longboards, and I don't mean like you're not a good surfer or longboarder, just stand up because it's easy and stand there. I mean, like, walk the board, engage the rail, find the trim. Like,
sure.
Like there's a whole art in there that people are unaware of. Shortboards in bad surf, though, for me, I just get out of the water upset.
Yep. And
then my back hurts, and I don't mind hurting my back. I do it every day surfing, but I want to have fun.
You shouldn't. Yeah.
So if I'm getting out of the water angry and my back hurts, and that's where what you were saying. So if I grab a longboard, I at least have more fun. If we go to Guillone's,
sure.
But if we go to some of the other waves, then that's a little bit different story. So anyway, I have always hated fun boards, and I have told everyone I thought they're horrible. And now there is a whole mid-length movement that's coming back.
Sure.
And I'm having to eat all my words because I'm out there trying to learn how to ride a mid-length right now.
Yeah.
Eric brought me a board the other day. Eric's shaping boards. They're called portals.
I saw
they're really unique. And he's found like a foam displacement kind of system that's he's onto something.
And he did it with here in mind, yeah? He did it with Jonas in mind or no?
No, I don't know. You have to ask him that. I think it's just more of almost everywhere because the boards can work in steep surf or soft stuff.
Okay.
But he gave me this board, and I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna go shred. So I get on this board, and I try to ride it like a short board. I'm at the back ready to just rip a lip off and look good, and I can't even get it to turn. And here's big, huge me, and for me, this is a small board. I'm like, what's going on? So I couldn't really nose ride it. And he's like, dude, you got to learn how to surf a mid length. I was like, well, how do you surf a mid-length? And that's when it all came back to me. My 10-year policy or 20 years or how many years I've been hating fun boards and mid-lengths, I got to eat my words now. So
sure.
I publicly acknowledge
there's
a place in the water for them.
You're making leaps and bounds then in your
Maturing. It only took me 4 something decades.
You're growing up.
No, back to you, man. Let's go back to your stuff. Do you have any goals like for this year? Is there any type of clients or anything that you're looking for that you want to use this platform to get out there?
I work really hard to make sure that what you see when I'm like gallivanting about and choosing places around the world to go to. I work hard during that time to make sure that there's something there that I can learn, that I can bring back, that I can experience, whether or not it's taking classes as simple as that, taking TRX classes somewhere else in the world, and drawing or learning from that, or whether or not it's doing like a study or it's how I went and studied the foundation training and took the time I was on that little vacation, that break in September, October, and it came about, so I took the time to go do it and study it. And this year I learned the Eastern medicine guasa technique. It's basically like a cupping or similar to an acupuncture without the needles. Or
we missed John and Hildy. They were
I love the acupuncture modality.
The cupping was super helpful.
That whole system of things, they're just super in tune. Like being in Thailand and being around that whole Eastern medicine side of things, they're just super in tune with the body. With themselves and with others.
Are you going to be able to start doing that this year?
Yeah, I started doing this interesting thing. So everything that I learned in the guasa technique when I did this training in Thailand, basically I had like a Thai massage school. I learned it from a chiropractor. The chiropractor will call it Graston. It's like a soft tissue release method that works really well for sports injuries. So you get a little meniscus issue from a judo tournament. And my chiropractor that I was working with at the time would put he was also doing my training, which I love, which is awesome, right? It wasn't just going to see him and he knew it all. And it was cool. Back and forth. He was also loved the training.
So you had some fulfillment out of it. You got something new and you got to share knowledge.
And he also taught me a lot, like working with Mark. And we went back and forth. That was in New Jersey. So he put you in this painful position that hurts your knee, that almost hurt, that you almost couldn't hold. And then he'd take this guasa tool. Usually like you can see like a jade stone, or it's something in the Eastern culture that they believe, that they know won't conduct electricity, current, and won't conduct heat. And he'd put an icy hot on your leg from Thailand. I brought a bunch of bombs, a bunch of like eucalyptus.
Hey man, you're not supposed to say you brought bombs.
Bombs. No, bombs as in BALMS. Not bombs. With
dang it, man. Bombas. Someone's watching this on the internet somewhere. Bomb. I got it. So like hot stuff? Like a hot, like a heat.
Some is heat, some is cooling. When you do the guasa, typically should be the cooling to counteract some of the scraping.
Okay.
But basically, he would scrape that area, and it would force blood flow into the area. It would start to regenerate some of the tissue, right? It makes it red. It's essentially like, slapping your arm and you get a little red there. Forcing the blood flow, forcing circulation. And I learned like a whole detox cleanse sort of way to do it that runs a bunch of meridian lines down your entire back. They always prescribe exercise, right? So they always say, okay, if you do this guasa detox, always do some exercise after to sweat a little bit, to get the heart rate up a little bit, to make the muscles heat up, to spike your metabolism, because everything that you're doing for that detox, if you do the exercise after, it like kickstarts your body. And then you start processing all the stuff and getting rid of it, right? So I started saying, okay, oxygenation was a big part of it. Same thing with foundation training. It starts with the breathing and with the decompression breathing and oxygenation of the, can I strengthen my diaphragm? Can I fill my rib cage to capacity? Can I fill my lungs to capacity? It's a huge part of the foundation training.
Zay, that's a lot harder than it seems too.
Well, you tell me. We just did it in the beginning before this, right? I made you guys stand up and do the decompression breath. And it's quite amazing how people are like, whoa, I didn't think it would be like that. Because I've had people literally look at me, be like, someone told me to come see you and no back pain, no anything. They just told me to come see you because I'm doing surf lessons and I want to get stronger for it. And I show them that first exercise that we just did in the morning, and they're like, nah, nope, don't want to do that. That looks silly. Don't want to do that. I said, well, do give me the benefit of the doubt and just do a one round of it, right? And if you still don't like it, and 99% of the time afterward, they're like, oh, what just happened?
Honestly, man, I can paddle out at large surf in guiones, and it's easier than getting through that taking.
It's incredible. Back to that guasa was the foundation training, that decompression style of it, not so much the holding the tensions, like, oh, can I hold the positions for so long and create as much tension as possible? But starting a decompression session where it's more focused on breathing really big, right? Slow breaths in through the nose, out through the nose, expanding the rib cage, creating the tension. It has to be there, right? The muscle system, the primary support system has to be there. Can I sit like this for a second?
Yeah, man.
I move a lot and I do well in chairs, I guess. A lot of people hold emotions in their bodies too, like in the muscle system, in the tissues, in the neck a lot of times. I have certain clients that know, they've come and told me and been like, I realize I hold emotions, I hold stress and other emotion, bad experiences in my hips. And I have certain exercises like that founder and the forward fold from foundation training and some other outside stretches, from other modalities that'll open that up, right? You kind of felt the length and stretch of your back in that initial standing decompression. So we start there. We oxygenate the blood. We do all that stuff, right? Then we do the Guasa treatment, which further increases that detox. And then we do a higher target heart rate, TRX, to finish. It's about an hour and a half. It's something I'm kind of forming for here that goes really well with a juice cleanse with like Nick at Go Juice, who's one of my good friends, and we're trying to form that together. So you get a discount on the
That's
Go
great.
Juice cleanse that he delivers to you, and then you also, if
That'd
either
be
one,
overseas.
we flip it back and forth, right? 20% off for the Guasa detox if you're already doing the juice cleanse, or 20% off for the juice cleanse if you're already doing
right on, man.
But we have to time it correctly, because then once I give you that hour and a half treatment, then you start your juice cleanse, and it's like a kickstart, man.
Hey, do you think I would qualify for that?
Absolutely.
I'd be interested.
I hate calling it detox. I like it as like a cleanse. It's good every now and then to kind of give a quick kickstart or a restart. There's a lot of talk on fasting and again, none of that stuff is easy, but nothing worth doing is really ever that
Hey,
easy.
man, I've learned something. We're gonna have to get you back, because you have so much information to share, and I think a lot of people would be really interested in this. And it sounds like you're up to some new stuff that you should keep getting out there.
Sure.
Let's bounce over to Nosara real quick.
Okay.
Quickly, give us a synopsis of what do you like about here? Like, what are your top likes? Maybe 2 or 3 most positive things.
Well, I like being able to cruise to the beach whenever I feel like, nice and close, right? So before work, take a quick surf, and then back to work, or in between sessions, or even just head into the beach and watching the waves for a bit in between sessions and kind of clearing my mind for the next work session. That's definitely one. I love being in the jungle. I love just being around nature, watching birds, and always right outside my window, I've always felt better we like going to the big cities every now and then to experience it. And then usually when I'm there for about 4 or 5 days in any one of those big cities, I want to be back in a place like this, or, mostly now Nosara, because it's become my home. I like riding the motorcycle around instead of like being stuck in a car in traffic somewhere.
Nice.
I like that sometimes traffic is like cattle herds.
It's a little bit different than the cities, huh?
This is going to sound really weird, but sometimes we go down through Garza and watch the sheep over the hill. When they come out, man, they have such personality. It's like entertainment.
There's a whole bunch of new ones. What do you call those? Are those kids?
I don't know.
Baby goats?
I don't know, man.
Hey, I don't know my animals.
But
I forgot.
they get ornery. They have personalities. It's pretty funny.
There's one that's a real jerk.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Carl had some goats, and there's one. Well, he has a real jerk goat. You got to watch out. He'll come headbutt you.
Yeah, and if he doesn't like the scene, if he doesn't like the way you're looking at him, then he'll come out. And I love just stuff like that. It's like pretty simple stuff.
Okay, so on the flip side, what are some of your dislikes?
It is getting crowded. It's changing a lot. Like I said, it's either you can take that as a positive or a negative, or a mix of both, and try not to focus on maybe one or the other, or maybe try to focus a little bit more on the positive changes and where it's headed. We definitely have felt that in the past, probably 2 out of my 5 or so years here. I felt that more so in the past 2 years, that it's changing. On a positive note on that is I still like the fact that there's still people here that you can like count on. There's still, even as it grows, even as more and more people flood in, and there's still that core like group of people. Like I still have a lot of friends here that are still here, that have been here, that aren't going anywhere, which is awesome, right? It's still sitting here doing this with you. still, hanging out with people like Glenn and Linda and,
Right.
and Mark and
Actually, and shout out
Alex
to
from
Glenn
iQuad.
he was the first introduction.
yeah.
And Glenn in our normal lives, like in our day jobs, we were competition.
That's
he was-
a hard subject, huh?
No, it's not.
No.
Heck, I'll say it to the whole world.
Sure.
It's hard for a lot of people because of some of the mentalities are mine. No, mine. You can't have it.
Sure,
mine.
sure.
And that's I don't look at it that way.
I mean, the same way like you've helped me, Jeff has also helped me at Gross Handler. When I moved down here, he helped me a lot and never asked anything back of me. Never turned into like, hey, remember that time that I, gave you some clients to host and paid you a little cash or whatever, stuff like that. He never turned that on me, so that was awesome. And I love all you guys the same. And Brandon, and I work with him and his family a lot, and we've become good friends. And Eddie, his son, and with Seth and all that. But I'm also omnipotent from that.
Wait, omnipotent.
Because when I come in, I'm separate from all that stuff. So I have the fortunate ability to be like, don't care. I don't know. I don't.
That's a beautiful thing, man. Like, we're talking about dislikes. My dislike is the internal fighting in a small town that comes from the competition and the gossip and that type of stuff.
Sure.
So that's my number one dislike. And I think it's getting better. I think it's getting better because I think the surf instructors get along better, the yoga instructors get along better, the physical fitness people.
It's gonna have to.
All get along. The realtors.
It's gonna have to when it grows like that, because otherwise it's not.
No, it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. We need to make it.
Sure, we have to work toward it. We have to work toward it, but it has to work toward that direction. Otherwise, it won't be. It won't be sustainable. We're all just going to kind of cave in on ourselves. Right?
Well, that's kind of the goal. Towns can go either way. Like a lot of emerging towns, there's a lot of studies out there that show there's certain things that a town has to have, or it grows to this, and then it goes the other direction.
I mean, look, I wasn't the first trainer here, right? And there was other TRX trainers, and I came in and just tried to be respectful and tried not to, I was going to do what I was going to do, but I just tried to, be mindful of what I was doing, and that was it.
And there's
other trainers now, there's other coaches, there's other movement people, there's other, right, that are coming in, and that I think, I from what I see, I think are doing the same thing, and that's a pretty cool goal. And it's hard not to say, like, oh, so-and-so's now got this client and is doing that. I do it. I see myself doing that, and then I try to say, like, Brian taught me this. I had a long talk with him. Met him in Madrid. I had a lot of long talks with him, and he was one that, and Delara kind of ganged up on me and said, like, don't worry about what other people are doing, because if you're constantly worried about what other people are doing, you won't be able to focus on yourself. And it was like, well, that's so dumb. That's so dumb. But I didn't think of it like that before, right? And boom, it was like, cool. Now I'm just going to focus on myself. And it went back to everything that I was saying before, and was like, okay, now all these things are making sense, right? And I hope that's like how everybody can kind of build, right?
Yeah.
I hope.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
What are your 3 favorite Nosara restaurants? No particular order, just quickly off the top of your head before you think too much about it.
3 favorite. There's so many. And there's so many new ones now that that I haven't even been able to try it, because I just got back pretty quickly.
You can't say them yet, so.
I loved the Portobello burger at Burgers and Beers. That was always really good. What else? It's hard because I don't go out to eat a lot, and my girlfriend's a private chef, so whenever she's
you can't say her.
I know, whenever she's not working, she's cooking. She cooks for me because she loves it. So it's hard. I'd have to say we go to Chivo a lot for brunches. And also I love hanging with that family and Matt and Joel and Matt from iQuad, or Alex from iQuad too. And we love those brunches over there, or chilling on that stoop and getting some late lunch or early dinner, and then just sitting out there and talking. They built that little deck out there for everyone. What else? I've yet to try like Diego's at over across from Gabby's.
Olivia's.
I've yet to be there yet, just because I was gone, and hopefully get to it. we'll see. I've been at Gilded Iguana. That was good. But I don't really eat out that much.
All right, then let's try this. What are your top 2 surfboards if you had to grab 2 and that's it?
I've always been a one surfboard guy.
You are. We're very different there.
I don't like changing boards. I don't like it. I feel weird. But no, I have a Pisalian. I have I think it's like a 510 Pisalian. That's like an good all-around board.
Uh-huh.
And before that, I had a Santa Cruz, an epoxy Santa Cruz that I really liked, and I retired it. I traded it to Zach Pullett for some graphic design.
Mr. Z, shout out to
another
Zach.
Great thing about he made my Viva Venture logo because I gave him the surfboard, the epoxy.
That's a good deal for both you guys.
Those are my boards. That's it. Those were my boards. I have a few others, but I never ride them. They stay packed away.
All right, how about this? I'll try your chia tea, whatever your new cleanse thing is.
Yeah.
I'll try that if you this year will come surfing and try some new surfboards.
Done.
All right, well, we've got it documented.
I'm in. The thought produces the choice. The choice produces the emotion. The emotion produces the physical response, right? And that's where we just started.
Okay, perfect. I will patiently listen and do whatever you say, and then you give me the same thing, and then we'll have a good time doing it.
Perfect.
All right, man. I'm going to get you back. But before you go, would you be willing to share what you just did for us so that somebody else can see that?
Sure.
Use Andres as
Absolutely.
Do you call him model?
A model.
I don't
He
know
looks
the
like
right
a model.
But I think it'd be really neat to see if people could put a visual with hearing the audio from what you were just describing.
Sure.
It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming in, dude.
Thank you.
We'll have you back soon.
So this is the founder by Dr. Eric Goodman, the creator of Foundation Training. And he's not in pain, right? You don't have back pain, no? Besides the normal stuff from surfing too much. But it's going to make you stronger for surfing, right? It's going to connect muscle chains with integration. It's going to get you breathing a little bit bigger and basically allow you to hinge at your hip and get a little bit stronger, a little more powerful in the water. So start by standing with your feet about 2 to 3 times hip width. Go a little bit wider. Perfect. A little bit. There. Now look down and parallel the outside edges of your feet. So the pinky toes are going to be in line with the heels. It's going to give us a subtle degree of internal rotation at our femurs.
I feel it.
Good. Wiggle the toes a little bit and get 3 points of contact down in each foot. The pad of the big toe, the pad of the pinky toe, and the heel. Firmly planted, active into the ground. Feel your arches work a little bit. Good. Now eyes up ahead, right at about horizon line, and set your chin back and chest up. Feel how your collarbones lift. Feel how the space already increases between your rib cage at the lower portion and your pelvis. Let's make the shaka signs. The thumbs find the base of the rib cage. The pinkies find the heads of the pelvis on each side. Soften the knees just a bit. Good. Now I want you to start in on your isometric contraction. So remember, that means not actually moving, but just creating the tension. Squeezing those heels together, finding the upper inner thighs or the adductors. That's your anchor, right, to the pelvis. Good. Keep these here. Good. Find that isometric contraction, anchoring the adductors to the pelvis, right? Now with the chin back and chest up, we're going to take some big, deep breaths, expanding the rib cage. Nice. Elevating the ribs. That's what you're feeling here. And then engaging the abs. If I was going to punch you in the stomach on that exhale, you're holding that space. You're that hot air balloon. This is the basket of the balloon. This is the balloon. The balloon expands 360 degrees. And the basket anchors down, and the tethers in the middle are the low back and the abdomen. They have to stay long and tense. Take 2 more big deep breaths here. This can be pretty tough. Breathe and reach the rib cage for the wall behind you, or my hand, the jungle behind you. And exhale, holding that space, holding tall. If you have any hyperextension in your back, right, we're going to try to breathe right into that center of your back here and lift even the back of your rib cage away from your back of your pelvis. 1 more big deep breath there. It gets tough. Pull those elbows and shoulders out wide. Nice. Go ahead and float your hands out ahead. All 10 fingertips touch. Set a little bit more weight into your heels so that we tension the back line of the body. Perfect. Knees are soft. Good. 1 more big deep breath is going to make sure that we're supported through the midsection. Sphere of tension here. Perfect. Good. Elbows turn slightly down. Nice. One more across the back here. Big deep breath. Feel how that arm position allows you to open up your back with breathing.
I feel really hard in this part of my back, the right part.
So relax just a bit here. Shake it out just a bit.
Yeah.
Good. There we go. So it's about finding tension. It's like tuning a guitar, right? You can tune it up. You can tighten the strings, but not too hard. You can detune it too, but not too soft, right? It's finding the middle. With the chin back and chest up, one more big deep breath. And soft knees, holding onto that adductor anchor. We're slowly going to pull the hips back, finding counterbalance with the upper body. So slowly, slowly, slowly. Knees are soft. Good. Perfect. Keep pulling those hips back. You're falling into that chair behind you. And so that you don't fall, your upper body finds counterbalance. Perfect. Keep going. I want you to feel your hamstrings and the glutes and the low back muscles all eccentrically loading or stretching under tension like a rubber band. Keep on going. Keep on going. Hands reaching out, hips pulling back. They're in direct proportion. Good. Neck stays long with that chin back and chest up. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. We're holding on to the adductor anchor. Now we're making that back line of mover muscles work. Keep reaching out ahead. Keep pulling the hips back. Sit a little further. Sit a little further. Keep going. You're playing that game of tug of war between the fingertips and the tailbone. Keep reaching. Keep reaching. Good. Now hold there. Pull the knees back a little bit. So make sure your knees don't come forward on this. This is not a squat, right? There it is. It's tougher. Your body wants to give out there. Now take a big deep breath into the back of your body. Expand your rib cage into my hand. Tighten the stomach on the exhale. Can you lift that sphere of tension up a little bit taller, increasing a bit of low back tension? Good. Set that chin back and neck long. The collarbones face the sky. One more big deep breath as you really play that game of tug of war with that sphere of tension and the tailbone. Good. Now slowly the hips are going to come forward. That back line of muscle contracts to move the hips forward and the hands down. Chest comes up. Slow, slow, slow. Go ahead. Let the hips start to come forward. Drive through the heels. The hands start to come down and stand up tall. Bam. Good. Now you felt all those muscles stretch under tension and then contract to move your hips back to neutral. Good. Nice.
You're really nice, bro.